Why is it important for families affected by dementia to have a conference like AAIC?
So I think that, AIC plays a very important role in research. There are certainly smaller conferences on Alzheimer's and other dementias, but the Alzheimer's Association's International Conference, our goal is really to span the breadth of science more widely, so representing from molecular and genomics to treatments and future therapies, and all the way to care support, educational programs, which also need evidence-based programs, right? We need that for our caregivers. We need that for people who are living with the disease today. So what the Alzheimer's Association tries to do is ensure that the science, all of the science that touches a person with dementia and their loved ones is reviewed, hypotheses are discussed, modified, so that we can make faster progress for the future. And that's why I think it's so important for families and people affected by this disease to understand that this conference ensures that all of that exchange of information happens live and quickly, so that we don't wait for a year and a half for publication. Right. And it speeds up discovery.
And what are some of the really important areas of research and science in dementia?
I think there are a few important areas. It's hard to pick just one, but certainly one of the most important, of course, is always going to be therapeutic development. And I think what we are seeing in particular at this conference is that their therapies take time to develop. And so you don't always have big news on a new therapy coming out, whether it's positive or negative. So what we do get a chance to observe at large conferences like Alzheimer's Association's International Conference is that you have a breadth of therapeutic areas being pursued now. It's not just tau and amyloid today. That's great news for the field. It means we recognize the challenges we face in Alzheimer's. It's not just a singular disease. It's very heterogeneous. But there's also a recognition that in order to really maximize these therapies of the future, we need early detection. Yes. We need to be able to detect this disease in the earliest possible time point. And I think in 2011 we really started recognizing, with the advent of the National Institute on Aging and Alzheimer's Association's revision of the criteria of Alzheimer's disease, the recognition that this disease has a time frame that is much longer than we thought. That time frame allows us an incredible window of opportunity in which we can change the trajectory of the disease. And that's really been an important focal point. I think lastly I'll say that what's really keen about this year's conference is that we may not have pharmaceutical news and very great news about therapies. But what we do have is phenomenal news on the effect of lifestyle, on the potential for preventing dementia. And what that means that in this long window of opportunity that we know now exists, we may be able to interfere not just with a pharmaceutical, but also with a lifestyle change.
Great. And finally, what are your hopes for how research will continue over the next 12 months?
I think some of the plenaries that we've heard thus far at the conference have been incredibly hopeful. I had one attendee tell me today that what a change from even last year. Last year just was not as hopeful. This year, all of the talks have really pointed to the effects of therapies in earlier time points, even if they're hints at effects, trends in more milder populations, and the knowledge that even if amyloid is not the only or the silver bullet, that amyloid preceding the cascade can give us hope that we may be able to interfere with amyloid or some other early event. And in addition to that, that tau therapeutics, anti-inflammation, and other things like lifestyle are all coming together. So it's a very hopeful time, and I'm hoping that in the next 12, even maybe 12 to 24 months, we not only hear more news about therapeutics, which are going to be maturing in the coming months and announcing, But we also are launching today at AAIC some new information about a U.S. finger-like study, like the Finland geriatric study that was reported first in Copenhagen and then in Lancet. The study that showed us that some modifications of lifestyle can indeed slow cognitive decline as we age. So we're going to announce here that we want to replicate that in the United States, and that we'll be making a $20 million investment in that type of study in 2,500 individuals across a diverse populations, diverse demographics in the United States, and hope that we can replicate that and make some recommendations to the public in the future.